I am nervous. Wait, hold on. Excuse me, noise gate. I need you to be less noise gatey. Thank you. Cool. Oh. Okay, listen. Part of the reason we VTube is because it's less scary than doing it live. So I should not be nervous to read a book. However, I will turn off my ability to hear myself because I will die. There. Now I can hear anything. Nothing. Nothing. Thump. Okay. Ugh. Hold on, we sit up. We sit up to read. After a brief flip through, I noticed that the chapters do seem to all be the same length. That means that, that we could do one little, bitty chapter a day. Try to get comfy, hold on. Ugh. And that would be good, I think. Sometimes there'll be words that I don't know. Don't bully me. Do not bully me. I will cry. Okay, here we go. Chapter 1. Jonathan Harker's Journal. Kept in shorthand, apparently. 3rd May. Bistriz left Munich at 8:35 p.m. on May 1st, arriving in Vienna early next morning. Should have arrived at 6:46, but train was an hour late. Budapest seems like a wonderful place, from a glimpse which I got of it from the train, and the little I could walk through the streets. I feared to go very far from the station, as we had arrived late, and it would start as near the correct time as possible. The impression I had was that we were leaving for the west and entering the east, the most western of splendid bridges over the Danube, which is here of noble wealth and depth, took us among the traditions of Turkish rule. We left in pretty good time, and came after nightfall to Klausenberg. Here I stopped for the night at the Hotel Royal. I had for dinner, or rather supper, a chicken done up in some way with red pepper, which is very good but thirsty. Memory, get recipe for Mina. I asked the waiter, and he said it was called paprika Hendel, and that it was as a national dish. I can't read. I should be able to get it anywhere along the Carpathens. I found my smattering of German very useful here indeed. I don't know how I should be able to get on without it. Having some time with my disposal when in London, I'd visited the British Museum and made search among the books and maps of the library regarding when I got near the... Wait, no, this is too many pages ahead. Please do not stick. Ow! Listen, we're professionals. Regarding Transylvania, it struck me that some foreknowledge of the country could hardly fail to have some importance in dealing with the noble of that country. I found the district he named is in the extreme east of the country, just on the border of 3 states, Transylvania, Moldavia, and Bukovina, in the midst of the Carpathian Mountains, one of the wildest and least known portions of Europe. I was not able to light on any map or work, given the exact locality of the castle Dracula, as there are no maps of this country as yet to compare with our own ordnance survey maps, but I found that Bistriz, the post named by Count Dracula, is a fairly well-known place. I shall enter here some of my notes, as they may refresh my memory when I talk over my travels with Mina. In the population of Transylvania, there are 4 distinct nationalities. Saxons in the south, mixed with them are the Wallachs, who are the descendants of the Dacians, Magyars of the west, and Sulkies of the east and north. I am going among the latter, who claim to be the descendant from Attila and the Huns. This may be so, for when the Magyars conquered the country in the 11th century, they found the Huns settled in it. I heard that every known superstition in the world is gathered into the horseshoe of the Carpathians, as if it were the center of some imaginative whirlpool. So if my stay may be very interesting, I must ask the Count about all of them. I did not sleep well, though my bed was comfortable enough, for I had all sorts of queer dreams. There was a dog howling all night long under my window, which may have had something to do with it, or it may have been the paprika, for I had to drink up all the water in my carafe, and it was still thirsty. Towards morning I slept and was wakened by the continuous knocking at my door, so I guess I must have been sleeping soundly then. I had for breakfast more paprika and a sort of porridge of maize flour, which they said was mamaliga, and an eggplant stuffed with forcemeat, a very excellent dish, which they called impaltata. Get their recipe for this also. I had to hurry breakfast, for the train started a little before 8, or rather it ought to have done so, for after rushing to the station at 7:30, I had to sit in the carriage for more than an hour before we began to move. It seems to me that the further east you go, the more impunctual are the trains. What ought they be what ought they to be in China? ? I don't get that, but okay, I'm sure it's supposed to be funny. All day long we seemed to dawdle through a country which was full of beauty of every kind. Sometimes we saw little towns or castles on top of steep hills, such as we see in old missals. Sometimes we ran by rivers and streams which seemed, from the wide stony margin on each side of them, to be subject to great floods. It takes a lot of water, and running strong, to sweep the outside edge of a river clear. At every station there were groups of people, sometimes crowds, and all sorts of attire. Some of them were just like peasants at home, or those I saw coming through France and Germany, with short jackets and round hats and homemade trousers, but others were very picturesque. The women looked pretty, except when you got near them, but they were all very clumsy about the waist. They had all full white sleeves of some kind or another. Most of them had big belts with lots of strips of something fluttering from them, like dresses in a ballet, but of course petticoats under them. The strangest figures we saw were the Slovaks, who were more barbarian than the rest. Their big cowboy hats, great baggy, dirty white trousers, white linen shorts, and enormously heavy leather boots, nearly a foot wide, all studded over with brass nails. They wore high boots with their trousers tucked into them, and had long black hair and heavy black moustaches. They are very picturesque, but do not look prepossessing. On the stage they would be set down as some old Oriental brand of brigands. They are, however, I am told, very harmless and rather wanting in natural self-assertion. It was on the dark side of twilight when we got to Bistras, which is a very interesting old place, being practically on the frontier, for the Borgo Pass leads into It had a very stormy existence, and certainly shows marks of it. 50 years ago, a series of great fires took place, which made terrible havoc on 5 separate occasions. At the very beginning of the 17th century, it underwent a siege of 3 weeks, and lost 13,000 people, the casualties of war proper being assisted by famine and disease. Count Dracula had directed me to go to the Golden Krone Hotel, which I found, to my delight, to be thoroughly old-fashioned, and for, of course, I wanted to see all of the ways of the country. I was evidently expected, for when I got to the door, I faced a cheery-looking elderly woman in the usual peasant dress, white undergarment with a long double apron, front and back, of coloured stuff fitting almost too tightly for modesty. When I came close, she bowed and said, "The Englishman?" "Yes," I said, "Jonathan Harker." She smiled and gave me some message to an elderly man in white short sleeves who'd follow her to the door. He went, but immediately returned with a letter. "My friend, welcome to the Carpathians. I am anxiously expecting you. Sleep well tonight. At 3 tomorrow the diligence will start for Bukovina. A place on it is kept for you. At the Borgo Pass my carriage will await you and bring you to me. I trust that your journey from London has been a happy one, and you will enjoy your stay in my beautiful land. Your friend, Dracula." 4th May. I found that my landlord had gotten a letter from the Count directing him to secure the best place on the coach for me, but on making inquiries as to details he was somewhat reticent, and pretended that he could not understand my German. This could not be true, because up to then he'd understood it perfectly, at least. He answered my questions exactly as if he did. He and his wife, the old lady who has received me, looked at each other in a frightened sort of way. He mumbled out that the money had been sent in a letter, and it was all he knew. When I asked him if he knew Count Dracula and could tell me anything of his castle, both he and his wife crossed themselves, saying that they knew nothing at all, simply refusing to speak further. It was so near the time of starting that I had no time to ask anyone else, for it was very mysterious, and not by any means comforting. Just before I was leaving, the old lady came up to my room and said in a very hysterical way, "Must you go? Oh, young heir, must you go?" She was in such an excited state that she seemed to have lost her grip on what German she knew, and mixed it all up with some other language which I did not know at all. I was just able to follow her by asking many questions. When I told her that I must go at once, and that I was engaged on important business, she asked again, "Do you know what day it is?" I answered that it was the 4th of May. She shook her head, and as she said again, "Oh, yes, I know that, but do you know what day it is?" On my saying that I did not understand, she went on. "It is the eve of St. George's Day. Do you not know that tonight, when the clock strikes midnight, all the evil things in the world have full sway? Do you know where you're going, and what you're going to?" She was in such an evident distress that I tried to comfort her, but without effect. Finally, cat, she went down on her knees and implored me not to go, at least wait a day or two before starting. It was all very ridiculous, but I did not feel comfortable. However, there was business to be done, and I could not allow I could allow nothing to interfere with it. Therefore, I tried to raise her up and said as gravely as I could that I thanked her, but my duty was imperative and that I must go. She then rose and dried her eyes, taking a crucifix from her neck, and offered it to me. I did not know what to do, for as an English churchman, I had been taught to regard such things as some meaning-sure idolatries. Yet it seemed so ungracious to refuse an old lady, meaning so well and in such a state of mind. She saw, I suppose, the doubt on my face, for she put the rosary round my neck and said, "For your mother's sake," and went out of the room. I am writing up this part of the diary whilst I am waiting for the coach, which is, of course, late, and the crucifix is still round my neck. Whether it is the old lady's fear, I do not know, but I am not feeling nearly as easy in my mind as usual. If this book should ever reach Mina before I do, let it bring my goodbye. Here comes the coach! 5th May, the castle. The grey of the morning has passed, and the sun is high over the distant horizon, which seems jagged. With whether the trees or hills I know not, for it is so far off that big things and little are mixed. I am not sleepy, and as I am not to be called till awake, naturally I write till sleep comes. There are many odd things to put down, and lest who reads them may fancy that I dined too well before I left Bistritz, let me put down my dinner exactly. I dined on what they call a robber steak, bits of bacon, onion, and beef, seasoned with red pepper and strung on sticks and roasted over a fire, in the simple style of London's cat's meat. The wine was golden mediach, which produces a queer sting on the tongue, which is, however, not disagreeable. I had only a couple of glasses of this, and nothing else. When I got on the coach, the driver had not taken his seat, and I saw him talking with the landlady. They were evidently talking of me, for every now and then they looked at me, and some of the people who were standing on the bench outside the door, which they called by a name meaning word-bearer, came and listened, and then looked at me, most of them pityingly. I could hear a lot of words often repeated, queer words, for there were many nationalities in the crowd, so I quietly got my polyglot dictionary from my bag and looked them out. I must say they were not cheering to me, for amongst them were Ordog, Satan, Polkol, Hell, Strikochika, Witch, Vrolok, and Skulk, both of which mean the same thing, one being Slavic and the other Servian, for something that is either werewolf or vampire. Mem, I must ask the Count about these superstitions. Somehow I don't feel like that's going to go well. Hi, Barry. And also Stella. When we started, the crowd round the inn door, which by this time had swelled to a considerable size, all made the signs of the cross and pointed 2 fingers towards me. With some difficulty I got fellow passengers to tell me what they meant. He would not answer at first, but on learning that I was English, he explained that it was a charm or a guard against the evil eye. This was not very pleasant for me, just starting for an unknown place to meet an unknown man. But everyone seemed so kind-hearted or so sorrowful and so sympathetic that I could not be but touched. I shall never forget the last glimpse which I had of the inn-yard and its crowd of picturesque figures all crossing themselves as they stood round the wide archway with its background of rich foliage of oleander and orange trees and green tubs clustered in the centre of the yard. Then our driver, whose wide linen drawers covered the whole front of the box seat, Gotza, they called them, cracked his big whip on his 4 small horses, which ran abreast, and we set off on our journey. I soon lost sight in recollections of ghostly fears and the beauty of the scene as we drove along. Although I had known the language, or rather languages, which my fellow passengers were speaking, I might not have been able to throw them off so easily. Before us lay a green sloping land full of forests and woods, with here and there steep hills crowned with clumps of trees, or with farmhouses, and the blank gable end to the road. There was everywhere a bewildering mass of fruit blooms, apple, plum, pear, cherry, and as we drove by I could see the green grass under the trees spangled with fallen petals. In and out amongst the green hills of what they call here the middle land ran the road, losing itself as it swept round the grassy curve, and was shut out by the straggling ends of pine woods, which here and there ran down the hillsides like tongues of flame. The road was rugged, but still we seemed to fly over it with a feverish haste. I could not understand then what the haste meant, but the driver was evidently bent on losing no time reaching Borgo Prund. I was told that this road in the summer is in summertime excellent, but that it had not been yet put in order after the winter snows. In this respect, it is different from the general roads of the Carpathians, for it is an old tradition that they are not to be kept in too good order. Of old, the hospodars would not repair them, lest the Turks should think that they were preparing to bring in foreign troops, and so hasten the war, which was always really at loading point. Beyond the green swelling hills of the Middle Land rose mighty slopes of forest, up the lofty steps of the Carpathians themselves. Right and left of us they towered, with the afternoon sun falling upon them and bringing out all the glorious colors of this beautiful range. Deep blue and purple in the shadows of the peaks, green and brown where the rocks mingled, and an endless perspective of jagged rocks and pointed crags, till these were themselves lost in the distance, where the snowy peaks rose grandly. Here and there seemed mighty rifts of the mountains, through which, as the sun began to sink, we saw now and then the white gleam of falling water. One of my companions touched my arm as we swept round the base of a hill and opened up the lofty, snow-covered peak of the mountain, which seemed, as we wound on our serpentine way, to be right before us. "Look, isn't Sek, God's seat!" And he crossed himself reverently. As we wound our endless way, the sun sank lower and lower behind us. The shadows of the evening began to creep round us. This was emphasized by the fact that the snowy mountain tops still held the sunset, and seemed to glow out with a delicate cool pink. Here and there we passed Syzyx and Slovaks, all in picturesque attire, but I noticed the Gotor was painfully prevalent. By the roadside there were many crosses, and as we swept by, my companions all crossed themselves. Here and there was a pleasant man or woman kneeling before a shrine, who did not even turn round as we approached, but seemed in self-surrender of devotion to have neither eyes nor ears for the outer world. There are so many things new to me. For instance, hayricks in the trees, and here there were very beautiful masses of weeping birch, their white stems shining like silver through the delicate green of the leaves. Now and then we passed a litter wagon, the ordinary peasant's cart, with its long snake-like vertebrae calculated to suit the inequalities of the road. On this there were sure to be seated a group of homecoming peasants, the Syzyx with their white and Slovaks with their colored sheepskins, the latter carrying lance fashion on their long staves with axe at end. As the evening fell, it began to get very cold, and the growing twilight seemed to merge into one dark mistiness of gloom in the trees, oak, beech, and pine. Though in the valleys which ran between the spurs of the hills, as we ascended the pass, the dark firs stood out here and there amongst the background of late-lying snow. Sometimes, as the road was cut through the pine woods, there seemed to be in the darkness that be closing down upon us great masses of grayness, which here and there bestrewed the trees, producing a particularly weird and solemn effect, which carried on the thoughts and grim fancies engendered earlier in the evening. With the falling sunset threw into strange relief the ghost-like clouds which among the Carpathians seemed to wind ceaselessly through the valleys. Sometimes the hills were so steep that despite our driver's haste, the horses could only go slowly. I wished to get down and walk up them as we do at home, but the driver would not hear of it. "No, no," he said, "you must not walk here. The dogs are too fierce." And then he added with what he evidently meant for grim pleasantry, for he looked round to catch the approving smile of the rest, "and you may have enough of such matters before you go to sleep." The only stop he would make was a moment's pause to light his lamps. When it grew dark, there seemed to be some excitement among the passengers, and they kept speaking to him, one after the other, as though urging him to further speed. He lashed the horses unmercifully with his long whip, and the wild cries of encouragement urged them on to further exertions. Through the darkness I could see a patch of grey light ahead of us, as though there were a cleft in the hills. The excitement of the passengers grew greater. The crazy coach rocked on its great leather springs and swayed like a boat tossed in a stormy sea. I had to hold on. The road grew more level, and we appeared to fly along. Then the mountains seemed to come nearer us on each side, and to frown down upon us. We were entering the Borgo Pass. One by one, several of the passengers offered me gifts, which they pressed upon me with an earnestness which would take no denial. These were certainly of an odd and varied kind, but each was given in simple good faith, with a kindly word and a blessing, and that same strange mixture of fear-meaning movements which I had seen outside the hotel at Bistris, the sign of the cross, and a guard against the evil eye. Then, as we flew along, the driver leaned forward on each side of the passengers, craning over the edge of the coach, peered eagerly into the darkness. It was evident that something very exciting was either happening or expected, but though I asked each passenger, no one would give me the slightest explanation. The state of excitement kept on for some little time, and at last we saw before us the pass opening out into the eastern side. There were dark, rolling clouds overhead. In the air, the heavy, oppressive sense of thunder. It seemed as though the mountain range had separated two atmospheres, and that now we had gone into the thunderous one. I was now myself looking for the conveyance which was to take me to the Count. For each moment I expected to see a glare of lamps through the blackness, but all was dark. The only light was the flickering rays of our own lamps, in which the steam from our hard-driven horses rose in a white cloud. We could now see the sandy road lying white before us, but there was on it no sign of a vehicle. The passengers drew back with a sigh of gladness, which seemed to mock my own disappointment. I was already thinking what I had best do, when the driver, looking at his watch, said to the others something which I could hardly hear. It was spoken so quietly and in so low a tone, I thought it was an hour less than the time. Then turning to me, he said in German, worse than my own, "There is no carriage here. The heir is not expected, after all. He will now come to Bukovina, and return tomorrow or the next day, better the next day." Whilst he was speaking, the horses began to neigh and snort and plunge wildly, so that the driver had to hold them up. Then, amongst the chorus of screams from the peasants and a universal crossing of themselves, a calash with four horses drove up behind us, overtook us, and drew up beside the coach. I could see from the flash of our lamps, as the rays fell upon them, that the horses were coal-black and splendid animals. They were driven by a tall man with a long brown beard and a great black hat, which seemed to hide his face from us. I could only see a gleam of the pair of very bright eyes, which seemed to red in the lamplight. As he turned to us, he said to the driver, "You are early tonight, my friend." The man stammered in reply. The English heir was in a hurry, to which the stranger replied, "That is why, I suppose. You wished him to go on to Bukovina. You cannot deceive me, my friend. I know too much, and my horses are swift." As he spoke, he smiled, and the lamplight fell on the hard-looking mouth with very red lips and sharp-looking teeth, as white as ivory. One of my companions whispered to another a line from Burger's Lenore, "Den die Toten reiten schnell," for the dead travel fast. The strange driver evidently heard the words, for he looked up with a gleaming smile. The passenger turned his face away at the same time, putting his two fingers and crossing himself. "Give me the heir's luggage," said the driver with exceeding alacrity. My bags were handed out and put in the I'm gonna look that up. Then descended from the side of the coach as the thing was close alongside. The driver helped me with a hand which caught my arm in a grip of steel. His strength must have been prodigious. Without a word, he shook his reins, the horses turned, and we swept into the darkness of the pass. As I looked back, I saw the steam from the horses of the coach by the light of the lamps, and projected against it the figures of my late companions crossing themselves. Then, as the driver cracked his whip and called to his horses, and off they swept on their way to Bukovina. As they sank into the darkness, I felt a strange chill and a lonely feeling came over me, but a cloak was thrown over my shoulders and a rug across my knees, and the driver said in excellent German, "The night is chill, mein Herr, and my master the Count bade me take all care of you. There is a flask of Slavosvitz, the plum brandy of the country, underneath the seat if you should require it." I did not take any, but it was a comfort to know it was there all the same. I felt a little strange and not a little frightened. I think had there been any alternative, I should have taken it instead of prosecuting that unknown night journey. The carriage went at a hard pace straight along, and then we made a complete turn and went along another straight road. It seemed to me that we were simply going over and over the same ground again. So I took note of some salient point and found that this was so. I would have liked to have asked the driver what all this meant, but I really feared to do so, for I thought that, placid as I was, any protest would have no effect in case there had been an intention to delay. By and by, however, as I was curious to know how much time was passing, I struck a match, and by its flame looked at my watch. It was within a few minutes of midnight. This gave me a sort of shock, for I supposed the general superstition about midnight was increased by my recent experiences. I waited with a sick feeling of suspense. Then a dog began to howl somewhere in the farmhouse far down the road, a long, agonized wailing, as if from fear. The sound was taken up by another dog, and then another and another, till the twilight bark happened, till, borne on the wind which now sighed softly through the pass, a wild howling began, which seemed to come from all over the country, as far as the imagination could grasp it through the gloom of the night. At the first howl, the horses began to strain and rear, but the driver spoke to them soothingly, and they quieted down, but shivered and sweated as though after a runaway from a sudden fright. Then, far off in the distance from the mountains on each side of us began a louder and sharper howling, that of wolves, which affected both the horses and myself in some way, for I was minded to jump from the calash and run, whilst they reared and plunged madly, so that the driver had to use all his great strength to keep them from bolting. In a few minutes, however, my own ears got accustomed to the sound, and the horses so far became quiet that the driver was able to descend and to stand before them. He petted and soothed them, and whispered something in their ears, as I have heard of horse-tamers doing. With extraordinary effort under his caress, they became quite manageable again, though they still trembled. The driver again took his seat, shaking his reins and starting off at a great pace. This time, after going to the far side of the pass, he suddenly turned down a narrow roadway, which ran sharply to the right. Soon we were hemmed with trees, in which places arched right over the roadway till we passed as through a tunnel, and a great frowning rock guarded us boldly on either side. Though we were in shelter, we could hear the rising wind, for it moaned and whistled through the rocks, and the branches of trees crashed together as we swept along. It grew colder and colder still, and fine powdery snow began to fall, so that we and all around us were covered with a white blanket. The keen wind still carried the howling of the dogs, and though this grew fainter as we went on our way, the baying of the wolves sounded nearer and nearer, as though they were closing round on us from every side. I grew dreadfully afraid, and the horses shared my fear, for the driver was not in the least disturbed. He kept turning his head to left and right, but I could not see anything through the darkness. Suddenly, away on our left, I saw a faint flickering blue flame. The driver saw it at the same moment. He at once checked the horses and jumped to the ground, disappearing into the darkness. I did not know what to do, the less as the howling of the wolves grew closer, but while I wondered where the driver suddenly appeared again, and without a word he took his seat. We resumed our journey. I think I must have fallen asleep and kept dreaming of the incident, for it seemed to be repeated endlessly, and now, looking back, it is like a sort of awful nightmare. Once the flame appeared so near the road, and even in the darkness around us I could watch the driver's motions. He went rapidly to where the blue flame rose. It must have been very faint, for it did not seem to illuminate the place around it at all, and gathering a few stones, formed them into some device. Once there appeared a strange optical effect. When he stood between me and the flame, he did not obstruct it, for I could see its ghostly flicker all the same. This startled me, but as the effect was only momentary, I took it that my eyes deceived me, straining through the darkness. Then, for a time, there were no blue flames, and we sped onward through the gloom, with the howling of the wolves around us, as though they were following in a moving circle. At last there came a time when the driver went further afield than he had yet gone, and during his absence the horses began to tremble worse than ever, and to snort and scream with fright. I could not see any cause for it, for the howling of the wolves had ceased altogether. But just then the moon, sailing through the black clouds, appeared behind the jagged crest of a beetling pine-clad rock, and by its light I saw around us a ring of wolves with white teeth and lolling red tongues, with long, sinewy limbs and shaggy hair. They were 100 times more terrible in the grim silence which held them than even when they howled. For myself, I felt a sort of paralysis of fear. It is only when a man feels himself face to face with such horrors that he can understand their true import. All at once the wolves began to howl as though the moonlight had some peculiar effect on them. The horses jumped about and reared and looked helplessly around, with eyes that rolled in a way painful to see, but the living ring of terror encompassed them on every side, and they had perforce to remain within it. I had called the coachman to come, for it seemed to me that our only chance was to try to break out through the ring, and to aid his approach. I shouted and beat the side of the calash, hoping that by the noise to scare the wolves from that side, so as to give him a chance of reaching the trap. How he came there I know not, but I heard his voice raised in a tone of imperious command, and I looked towards the sound. I saw him stand on the roadway. As he swept his long arms as though brushing aside some impalpable obstacle, the wolves fell back, and back further still. Just then a heavy cloud passed across the face of the moon, so that we were again in darkness. When I could see again, the driver was climbing into the calash, and the wolves had disappeared. This was all so strange and uncanny that a dreadful fear came upon me, and I was afraid to speak or move. The Time seemed interminable. Yeah. As we swept up on our way, now in almost complete darkness, for the rolling clouds obscured the moon. We kept on ascending, with the occasional periods of quick descent, but in the main always ascending. Suddenly I became conscious of the fact that the driver was in the act of pulling up the horses in the courtyard of a vast ruined castle, for whose tall black windows came no ray of light, and whose broken battlements showed a jagged line against the moonlit sky. End chapter 1. Ugh. Oh, jeez. Okay. Ugh. I don't think I've ever prattled on for that long. That was half an hour. Okay. I did it. Was that fun? I did. Oof. I gotta look up the whatever word they're using for coach. It's messing me up. Messing me up like a lot. Aw, that's okay. I recorded it too. One sec. I'm having a time. Okay, I'm gonna get small. Hold on. Lower. There we go. Yeah, but I don't know how to pronounce it was the problem. How the heck do I pronounce that? I gotta look that up. Ooh. Okay. Clash. So I was pronouncing it correctly? Cool. Clash. Okay, I was pronouncing it right. Okay. Well, that's lucky. Ugh. Good morning. Now I can talk. I looked up once, and then when I looked up to say hello, I just completely lost. I lost my flow. Power read. Yes, very much. Anyway, I'm awake. Gotta go to work later. Let's do some olives. Yeah, in 20 minutes. 20 minutes of olives. Hey. Okay, come on. You were the good controller. You were the controller that didn't... You were the controller that didn't do the thing. And now they both do the thing. Why are you like this? You were the chosen one, Anakin. Anakin! What? Okay. Yeah, you were the chosen one. The colorful one was the good one. Okay. So. I haven't streamed this in a while. Sorry. But, we have puppy. A kitty. Meow. Right, poor Obi-Wan. I got a hat. I also have a buffalo. His name is Buffalo. I'm very creative. Hey, camera. Hey, camera. Psst. My eyes are open. Do me a solid. No? Okay. Bah! Chickle. Oh, I also threw 999. Yeah, that's fair. I have to go too. It's my not boyfriend. Oh. 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 Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, Lars came to my house. Sorry to bug you at the crack of dawn. There's something I needed to check in with you about. Repairs on your bike are almost done. I forgot I had a bike, man. We encountered one major snag. We kind of ran out of the necessary materials for repairs. Tried to place an order, but our supplier has no idea when the goods will be coming. Bro, I got you. If you happen to get your hands on any of the materials, could you bring them over? It'd be a huge help. Bye. Have a good day. Post a list of materials up on the bulletin board. Bitch, I got you. Ba. Pet. Meow. So I can't grow nothing in the season of winter. Also, I hope that at some point the ground gets covered in snow. Because I want that. That would be good. Ah. Wah. I have topiaries. Chickens. I have a horsey. I have a second stable because I want another horse. Not that I'll be riding both of them or anything. I don't know. Here's your sheep. Here's bunny. Here's your goat. And another sheep. Oh, the other thing was a goat. My bad. Oh, this is a sheep too. Oh my god. So many aminos. I just found these guys. Thank you! I think I've almost got enough materials to make the, really cute, fluffy white winter dress. Which I'm very excited about. Oh, no. The, they have milk and wool. You just cut chunks. You just cut chunks off of your living animals. It's like, give me the meat. Ew, gross. Oh, I gross myself out. Oh, I gross myself out. Ew, ew, ew. No. Pet the chicken. Yeah. I wonder if they have different species of chickens, because right now they only have silkies and the regular chickens. I am not knowing. Wait a second, you guys can come outside today. Yeah, come on. Outside. And I also have beehive. But I don't have any flowers to put in here. Oh my god! Okay, I think I need to actually make another barn. Because I'm used to the bunnies being in the coop. But they can't live in the coop. God, what's your name? What do I name this bunny rabbit? Yeah. Yee. Yeah, I need to build another barn. Hi! Yay. Alright, you come outside. Come outside. I definitely need to build a bigger barn. Okay, so if I can find flowers, I can put it into the, I can put it into the bee house. I could grow some flowers, but it's winter, so I can't do that right now. Give me, like, big snow. Please. That doesn't count. My god, they're everywhere. I don't remember what I need. I should probably go check. I could turn them into things to sell them for more, but I'm lazy. And that takes time. What? 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 Ceremony? What is happening? Thank you all so much to be participating. I did it. I did it all. Those were 999 of my fucking rocks. You did nothing. Dude, fuck you. I donated all of the things. I did it. It was I. Rude. Cannot believe you. Let the children design your shit. It's a good idea. I'm sure this won't come back to bite us. Oh, tell him, Angela. Fuck him. Fuck that guy. Oh my god. So he actually is a pirate? Okay. Yes, it's me. I am the one. Yeah. Whoa. The music is different. Got some jazz going on. I like jazz. Woo! Ah! It's one of my not girlfriends. That's... You know, that's a priority. I'm willing, if you know what I mean. You're down for that, right? It'll be fun, I promise. Thanks, friends is the best. By the way, can you dance? I'll dance for you, baby. Where are we dancing? Plenty of drinks on the house and music to last us the whole night. Trust me, your place is gonna turn some serious heads. We'll have it like on the beach, or maybe just a little ways into the forest. Don't worry, I'll set everything up. Gazing at the stars, dancing until morning. Doesn't sound awesome? I'll put everything together so you can, like, advertise for it. Still have work here that needs to be done, so it'll be your job to let Bitch, I do everything! Fuck you! Ah. Oh my god, Blathers, why are you such a killjoy? Oh my god. Blathers is such a buzzkill. Oh, the fishing tournament. Right. Oh. Where's my shit? I accidentally have shit in my inventory. Take it out. Ow. Ooh! Crystallized amber! Is there a mosquito in there? I have an idea for a park. Oh. Hello. Hi. You don't need two of them. Give me one. Dude, just put it anywhere. I don't care. It's a fucking... It's a fucking thing. I don't care. You're welcome a lot. Listen, Lars and you are my girlfriend and boyfriend, respectively. Respectively. Don't talk about each other behind my back. Why the fuck do you need an olive to fix my motorcycle? Just, you know, I just... Why is there no snow? Why is there no snow? I want there to be snow. Nah. Hold on. I gotta... Oof. Help! Improper posture. Wait, hold on. I got... Hold on. Where's my me? Move over. Okay. There we go. That's fine. Okay. Ugh, my eyeball. Oh, look, it's Matt Damon. Wow. Look at this. It's all like the trees are dead, but there's no snow. Where's my oh. Hi. Yay. I want whatever. I want Petalwind Gardens. I don't know what it is, but I want it. I want it. Hold on. BB. I'm awake. Everything's fine. Good. I do have an olive crystal though. Felt like I was doing something. Oh, I wanted to see what I needed to make the little outfit. Hi, hello. Oh look, I got close. Don't remember what I bought, but I got close. Okay. Rabbit, wool, and alpaca. I probably got that. And then the hat. Rabbit fur, wool, alpaca wool. Oh, I don't think I have pluses on anything but the rabbit. I'm gonna wear so many flower crowns. Oh! I wonder if, like, they'll have any, like, sundresses? Oh, that would be cute as hell. I want one of them. Cool. I want the one with the big fluffy skirt. That one, good, but also... Yeah. Excuse me. I want the little skirt. Okay. Me too! We're totally gonna get it, and we're gonna be cute as hell. But I need to blow money on changing my hair again. Yes. Ah! Yay. So I have the Suffolk sheep. Oh wait. How? I think I just need money to get another barn. Ah! What has happened? Oh, Misaki, welcome. I am not Misaki. Never mind, it's just you. What the fuck do you mean it's just me? You're a bit busy having a fucking date with Misaki. I know what's going on. I caught you. This man thinks he's slick. Nope. Oh shit. No, I'm gonna go. No, I'm leaving. No, sit, bye, goodbye. I know when I'm not wanted. No, it's fine. You have a son? Oh, the hat guy is your son. Lame. Sounds like you're both a kind of mountain men. I like that. Oh. I wouldn't put it like that. Oh. I just want to see you. Oh. Thanks. I'll talk with him about it. It's okay. No, I won't. I'm not gonna. Jeez. Hi.
Hello.
Jeez. Buh. Oh, dude. I could do this. I could make a bigger house. I don't have 100 grand, but I could build a bigger house. I could do it. I have 100 grand in no time, bitch. Do I know how to make any of these foods? This guy likes when I make food. Oh, I might be able to do honey yogurt. Bah. I'm a little overtime, but I... What? Wow. That's a thing. Let's place this, this other barn someplace. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh my god, where am I gonna put this thing? Okay, a little maintenance is in order. I am Stretch Armstrong. I got this. I gotta upgrade my bucket. This takes like 5,000 years. Oh my god. Just grab that barn out of my pocket and away we go. Alright, do they make it easy to move shit? Let's see. Okay. How about we go like this? Might have to make a bigger one eventually. I have to make a like a automatic feedy thing. Can I do that? Do I have enough shit in my inventory to do that right now? Yep. Yay. Look, I can make a horse. Wait. Horse. A fountain. I want that. I want the fountain. I got nowhere to put it, but I sure do want it. Hold on, though. Where's that thingy? There we go. Yeah. Alright, y'all. Good job. I keep redoing the layout. Okay. Oh, jeez. I already have enough for the horsey thing. Sweet. Let's do it. Horsey thing, horsey thing, horsey thing, horsey thing. Horse. Yes. Crafted it out of individual. Ah! Listen. When I set a shit down, I want that shit to be kept down. Wrong thing. Help. Wait. I don't have any stuff at cloth yet. And that's, I think, what I need for... What's her face? For the coat. I need to put the horsey thing down. Can I put it back here? Here? Let's see. Okay. Horsey. Horse. Horsey. Nope. Horse. Horse? No. Horse? No. Horse? Yay. Oh god, it's beautiful. It's not beautiful though, it's horrible. Oh my god. The chicken one and the cow one are better. Hi buddy. Ah. Okay, though. Hey, I'm gonna call it. I'm a little overtime, and I gotta get ready for other stuff. Oh my gosh. I'm hoping to get good at waking up so that I can actually stream for a good amount of time. I don't know. We'll see. I hope the book part wasn't boring. I got so nervous about doing it, and I was like, wait. I like VTubing because I can hide, so I should just go for it. So anyway, let's find somebody to raid it early. Okay. My gosh. Because nobody I watch on this early. You know what that means. That means we have to bother somebody else. Hold on. Wow. Okay. Let's go bother Olivia Monroe. Yay! Let's the single of us go bother somebody. Oh, here we go.